It's time to breathe again on the latest breath of fresh air, Shorty, with your host, Charles Taylor. So, for this afternoon, I wanted to discuss, well, of course, I want to talk about what's going on with Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC from the Big 12 conference. But this is another aspect of it. Now, you heard Patrick Brackett and me uh, break down what all this means throughout last week. We talked about it on the Shortie, or excuse me, not on the Shortie, but on the webcast last week. And you heard Patrick talk about the moment where the SEC formally invited Texas and Oklahoma to join the Big 12, or excuse me, to join the SEC. Um, so what you have here is Texas and Oklahoma at the latest by 2025 will be members of the SEC, but it probably will happen sooner than that. I guess just depending on what happens in the legal battle and how much Texas and Oklahoma end up paying to the Big 12 so they can make this move sooner than 2025. Now, the aspect I want to discuss about this story, is the one coming from the Big 12 commissioner, Bob Bowlesby. So last week, he wrote a cease and desist letter to, I guess, ESPN, because ESPN, according to Bowlesby, is saying they okay, take it back. So, according to Bowlesby, ESPN conspired with the SEC and the American Athletic Conference basically to have a part in dismantling the Big 12 so they could get more money in their pocket and also talk to the American Athletic Conference to take in the remaining members of the Big 12 conference as soon as Texas and Oklahoma leaves for the SEC. Now, on the surface, these are some huge allegations. Huge allegations being levied upon ESPN. But I will say, if ESPN did have a hand in this, it would not surprise me at all, for the simple reason that a lot of stuff happens these days, and that is the reason of the money that can be in someone's pocket. Let's make this clear. ESPN has broadcasting rights to a lot of entities in college football. They have deals with the college football playoff. They're exclusively airing the games that happen with the college football playoff. And we all know if this bad boy expands to 8, 12 teams, or however many teams they're trying to expand this to, that's going to be more money in ESPN's pocket, especially seeing how they're the exclusive rights holder of the games that air with the college football playoff. They also have a contract with the SEC. We all know they have the SEC network, and I think at the end of 2023, correct me if I'm wrong, please fact check me on that, and if I am wrong about that, that is my bad. But I think the deal with CBS, the SEC has, runs out in 2023. So what that means is the best game, normally what's been happening, the best game from the Southeast Conference has been on CBS. And CBS has also been the network that airs the SEC championship game from Atlanta every year. So now that is apparently supposed to go to ESPN. And then if you add Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC, that's going to be more money in ESPN's pocket. And then with the American Athletic Conference, they have a contract with them. So if they're able to get, let's say, Oklahoma State or Kansas in terms of the basketball, they're able to get those two teams in particular. And I mean, I'm not limiting them to those two teams. Of course, there will be 8 teams left once Texas and Oklahoma leave. But once those two powers, or powers in the sense of money grabbers, leave, then those other 8 teams, which is TCU, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and I'm missing somebody. I'm missing somebody. Can't think of it. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, hey, go ahead and in West Virginia. There we go. I couldn't think of it. Yep, I forgot about West Virginia. So once those 8 teams are left remaining, the American Athletic Conference can potentially get one of those teams in there, according to this letter from the Big 12 commissioner that says ESPN is conspiring with those two conferences, with the SEC and the American Athletic Conference, to basically dismantle the Big 12. Look, these are some huge allegations on the surface. So that goes without saying there. But if ESPN had a little bit of say so in this, it would not be surprising to me at all. We have to understand how influential ESPN is in the network. You've heard Patrick and me talk about this a lot about ESPN's influence, the content they put out, and how they do what they can to relate to the general sports fan. Not necessarily the one who is going to eat, sleep, and drink sports, but the one who will check it out casually. And with the casual fan, a lot of people know about ESPN before they'll know about the other sports networks that are out there. Of course, ESPN is the first of its kind to be an exclusive network about sports. So you have a lot of people who are just kind of grandfathered in, and you have a lot of people who get their news from ESPN, and whatever ESPN does is the gospel. So I say all that just to point out, if ESPN did have a hand in this, and I'm not trying to say they did or they didn't, but if it comes out that they did, or if they did have a hand in this, would not surprise me at all because of the mass outreach ESPN has. They are you're not gonna sit there and tell me they're not involved, at least in some of these conversations. Now, whether or not they're over here pulling the strings for it, that might be another story. But I think ESPN does have a little knowledge about what's going on. And if they had a hand with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC to dismantle the Big 12, I don't think that's too far out of the spectrum there. I don't think that would be coming out of left field. You also have to remember, especially when it comes to Texas, Texas has the Longhorn Network. That is also exclusively on ESPN. That's more millions of dollars that's going to continue to go into ESPN's pocket for the broadcasting rights and all that. And it'll be interesting to see how that is going to work with the SEC network because look, Texas, they have to remember now. Look, on the field, they've been getting their asses kicked. We know that they are not a good football program right now. It's disappointing they're not a good football program with all the resources they have there, but the facts are they're not good on the field right now. But as far as the money making goes, they are one of the top schools, if not the top school in the nation. Well, now they're coming into the SEC, and they're not going to be able to bully Alabama or Florida or LSU or Georgia or hell, even Texas A&M at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how that whole dynamic plays out. But if the SEC, or excuse me, if ESPN was involved with this, do not be surprised. I will say that. Do not be surprised because ESPN is a powerful entity. And it wouldn't take much for them to say, hey, let's see if we can get these two big powers to join the SEC, knowing they're about to have pretty much exclusive rights to the broadcasting of SEC games. Yeah, I don't think the Big 12 commissioner, and look, maybe he's coming across as salty and upset, but look, y'all, I would not be surprised at all if he was right about this because looking at ESPN's programming over the past few years and how they're about money, 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 everything else has been thrown out the window. Yeah, I would honestly lean more toward the side of the Big 12 commissioner with this. Well, that's what I'm breathing on today. Y'all make sure y'all go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Patrick and I should be back with the webcast later on tonight. Until then, I hope you guys have a good Tuesday afternoon, and we'll see you tonight. Take care.